All right, so before we get to the Seahawks post game, I mean, do we even really have to get to it? But we will get to it. But before we get to it, I'm still rocking the Darnold jersey because I've been talking a lot about Darnold now for the last couple of weeks and how I think the Jets should really try to go after him if he's a free agent. And at this point, if Minnesota just doesn't lock him up. Minnesota got Daniel Jones, so I don't know if that means they are really going to let Darnold walk. We'll see. I don't know. But he continues to play at an unbelievable, surprising level this year. He now has the Vikings at 10-2. And from what I understand, they were pretty down in the game today against the Cardinals. And he came back and led them to a victory. So, the guy is just playing unbelievable this year. And like I'm saying, if the Jets have a shot to get this guy and bring him back to the team, I don't know how you don't at least really try to make that happen. He will be the best quarterback available if he is a free agent at the end of this season. So, and it's what we need, all right? We need a fucking quarterback. And I'm not talking about some type of project that we get from the draft, or we need somebody to step in and win now. And he also has age on his side. He's in his prime right now. It's a perfect situation if the Jets could pull it off, and if he would entertain coming back to the Jets. I made a whole video about this. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I put it out like maybe 5 days ago at this point. It's all my thoughts about why the Jets should bring this guy back. And there's a couple of people who have been commenting on that video, and there was one thing that sticks out in my mind where I think going back and forth with somebody about they felt like he was always this elite quarterback. I have to disagree. He was not this elite when he was on the Jets. Now, granted, when he was on the Jets, it was a horrible team, and the coaching situation was fucking bad, but still, he was not the Sam Darnold that you see this year. All right, let's be fucking real about it. I remember him throwing a lot of interceptions, and I remember his mechanics being fucked up, and I also remember him not being able to really read the field and the defenses as well as he can do that now. So the bullshit that he was just as good when he was on the Jets as he is now, come on. It's just not the case. He has grown and matured, and he has become as good as he is right now. He was not this way in his first couple of seasons with the Jets. He was a rookie. He was learning the game. He was not as polished as he is now. And that's why I want to see him come back, because he has matured, he has grown. So let's just see what happens. And like I said, a lot of people commented on that video saying that they just don't think it's going to happen. They don't see any possible fucking way it'll happen. They don't think he'll come back to just, what they're saying is a dysfunctional franchise, and I can't argue that. But at the same time, I think another key here with Darnold is, and just the Jet organization in general, a big key to me is really who are they going to bring in as GM and coach? Because if they fuck that up again, then why would Darnold want to come back to, what could turn into another shit show? So, the Jets really have to nail the GM and head coach situation, and I don't think that's going to be easy to do. I really don't. And, I know Woody hired that 33rd team group. They're like a consulting group. And, just a quick thought on that. The last time Woody hired somebody to fucking consult him with this shit, we wound up with Adam Gase. So, please, Woody, if you're going to consult with these fucking people, consult with, like, the smart ones or the ones who are really proven, I don't know, man. Talk to Parcells. And I heard this as well, and I'm praying it just doesn't affect the Jets in any way, but I actually heard that Adam Gase is part of this fucking thing. So, I'm almost scared to think about it, to be honest with you. So, but I'm fucking digressing here. Maybe I'll put another video out when we learn a little bit more about the 33rd team fucking bullshit or whatever. But just wanted to give a little more Darnold talk and get used to it, because I'm going to talk about this every fucking week, because I think it's, what the Jets should do. They really should go after this guy if he's going to be a free agent, like I said, and he's going to entertain, or if he will entertain coming back to the Jets. So, I mean, how do you not contemplate it? Come on. How do you fucking not contemplate it? So, all right, we have a post-game video to do here. We have the Seahawks today. I predicted a loss, and I gotta be honest with you. I started watching the game, and I'm like, every time I predict a loss, they fucking win, because it certainly looked like they were gonna win this fucking game today. They came out, they were playing pretty strong, and the Seahawks were just fucking up and doing everything, I think, in their power to give the Jets a victory, and the Jets still lose the fucking game. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, the only thing I can say about, and it's funny too, because I'm watching the game and I'm like, I think they're going to win this game. And then right away, I'm like, well, if they win this game, they just got to win 5 more. And, the whole fucking delusion started to set in. And I was like, all right, I can't go down that road yet. And it's a good thing I didn't, because, come on, man. I mean, another game that, this game, it just looked like they were going to win, and they just found it. It's the old Jets coming back. The old Jets would always find a way to lose, and it's like, that's what this team is starting to do now. So it's sad, man. It's sad, and I think the only other thing I can say here is, and I've said it before, this team is broken, man. This is a broken. What bothers me about this is that the team actually has some talent. It's just that, the whole organization is broken at this point, and that's why I think people are commenting on the Darnold video saying, why would he want to come back to the fucking Jets? And in a way, I can understand that, and I agree with that, but the team that is on paper right now for the Jets is a pretty good team with a lot of young talent. So it would be a much better team he'd be coming back to than what he had when he was here. But it's the whole GM coaching ownership problem that is really fucking this organization up. And I heard something today, and I have to look into it. And if it's true and I learn a little bit more, I'll make a video about it. I heard that Jeff Bezos is thinking about buying the Jets. Now, I don't know how true that is, and I don't know where that would fit into the realm of Jet world, but it's interesting to me, because I think Woody does have to fucking go. I really do. So the only thing I can hope is, if there's truth to that, I hope Bezos is a fucking Jet fan, because I think that's what we need. We need somebody who knows some fucking, again, I don't know if this guy knows football. I don't know if he's a Jet fan. I don't know I got to look into that, because it's intriguing to me, but, we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens, but let's not drag this one out. It is no fucking highlights for this. Oh, that's, so because I'm not going to put any highlights into this, here's an interesting thing about this game as well that I thought, which was, you figured Geno, the ex-Jet, would be the guy to really come into town and pull this victory out for the Seahawks, but an unforeseen ex-Jet really showed up and got the fucking victory, I think, for this team today, the Seahawks. And that was fucking Leonard Williams, man. Wow, what a fucking game that guy had against his old team. And you just, he was a wrecking machine A pick six for a fucking defensive lineman who took it back like 80 yards. That was impressive just by itself. But I think the guy had like 3 fucking sacks today, too. And like, crucial sacks at crucial moments. And he really, he was like the MVP of the game for the fucking Seahawks, in my opinion, without a doubt. So it wasn't Geno Smith who, came into town and fucking pulled the trigger on his old team. It was actually Leonard Williams. So interesting. I didn't see that coming, but it is what it is. And the Jets lose another one. They are 3-9 now. That's fucking just embarrassing with the team they have. And, like I said, well, they don't really have a fucking team at this point. It's not the team. It's just the whole structure around this fucking team. It just completely fell apart. It all went downhill when they decided that they wanted Rodgers. That Rodgers is gonna take us back to the bowl and fucking win it. And you can ask anybody who fucking knows me. From day one, I said I didn't want to see that. I said it was a bad move. And everybody was like, how could you say that? It's fucking Aaron Rodgers. It's fun. I knew it was going to be a fucking disaster. And that's exactly what it is now. And it's not just that Rodgers is a disaster and the fucking team's a disaster. It's not just, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's just going after Rodgers. It set the whole fucking franchise back. Because, in the process, the head coach gets fired, the GM gets fired. Now you got to restart that fucking cycle. You got to still now look for a fucking quarterback who, can be a franchise quarterback for this fucking team. That's what this team needs. So that's why I will wear this Darnold jersey for the rest of this fucking season, because that is my stance with this team at this point. You got to get a quarterback. Again, if I don't know who the head coach is going to be, I don't know who the GM is going to be, but when you get a good quarterback on your team who can win games, it kind of makes the coaches look a little better, even if they're not. So, do you think Belichick would have won 6 Super Bowls without Brady? I don't think so. Do you think Andy Reid is, how many they got now? 3 fucking Super Bowls with Mahomes, and they're going after their 4th. They've been to 4. They've won 3, and I think they might three-peat this year and get their 4th Super Bowl. Do you think that's really Andy Reid, or is it Mahomes? So that's what I'm saying. Now, am I saying Darnold is Brady and Mahomes? No. I'm saying that Darnold is playing exceptionally well now, and he looks like he has come into his own and has really grown and matured as a quarterback. And he looks solid to me. That's what this team fucking needs. Not a fucking crapshoot on somebody else in the draft and a project with this quarterback, or a fucking project with that quarterback, or a fucking washed up veteran, or fuck all that. Just go after Darnold. Just do it. If he's available, and if he will entertain coming back to his original team.